Hello, good morning. Okay, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Again, this is your host, Santos Capilan Jr., always wishing you good day. Guys, today what I'm going to do is to continue my tutorial for computer programming for a BMS engineer. Okay, now again, I would like to reiterate that this tutorial is for engineering graduates like mechanical, electrical, and other engineering discipline wherein the students or the graduates have a very less exposure in programming. Okay, now as a BMS engineer, it is one of your scopes to do control logic programming. Okay, now it is very helpful if you have any idea about computer programming. Okay, so you can use the one that you will learn it here, you can apply it in your control logic programming. Okay, now today what I'm going to do is to do a simple employee pay calculation. Okay. Now here, I would like to introduce here global variables. Now in the previous tutorial, we have learned already the scope of variable, if it is local, private, and if it is only available in an event procedure, how you will be declaring a variable if you want to share it in the entire form or in a one form. Okay. Now, but if you want to share it in another form, that is a different story. Okay. So that one I will cover it here. Okay. So as you can see here, I have two forms here. This is the first form. Okay. Now let me show you. So here in my Solution Explorer, I have my form 1. Okay, now actually we can rename this one. So let me see if I will be able to rename it. Okay, just give me a minute. So I will try to rename this one. Instead of form 1, I will rename it to, come on guys. Okay, so just, guys, I will rename it to main form. Okay, so I will say main form. Okay, then I have my another form here is this payslip. Okay, so I have my main form, then I have my payslip here. Okay, so this is my main form. Okay, so employee pay calculation. Now this is a very simple employee pay calculation. Okay, then I have here my payslip form. Okay, so I have two forms here. Now, in this scope, I will try to explain how the variables that you will declare here can be shared to add to the next form or the payslip form. Okay. Now, if the variable scope will be global, when I say global, uh, the variables can be shared in the entire application. Meaning, let's say this pay calculation, you have maybe 10 forms, then a variable declared as public and shared can be accessed or used in the different forms. As I said, if you have 10 forms here, you can transfer that variable to different forms. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Now, to be able to do it, you need to go to your solution or your application. Then you have to click, right click, then you have to add a class. Okay, so you have to add a class. Okay, so just okay, so the class that you are going to add, you need to rename it because by default it will be uh, class 1, then rename it to the appropriate class that you want to uh, add. Okay, so let's say this one will be my I can say, since I'm going to use global variables, I will just say global. Okay, so let's say global var. Okay, So global var. So that will be the class that we are going to use in defining the global variables. Okay. Now, anyway, I don't need to add it because I already added it previously. Okay. So what I'm going to do is to show you the added class. Okay. Now, if you add it, then it will appear in your Solution Explorer. Then this is the global var. Okay. So you can double click it so that you can display. Now, in my class global var, from here, I need to declare all the variables, okay, that I intend to share in the entire application, okay? So how are you going to do that? First, you will use the keyword public, then shared, okay, shared. Then use now or define, control set. Then now, the next thing you need to do is to define the variable. Like what I have here, mfn as a string, okay? So the data type is a string because I'll be expecting to store series of characters for this uh, variable, okay? Then the next one is the ML name, okay? Now, as programmer, you will be the one to decide the name of the variable that you're going to use, but use a variable name which is descriptive, like this one, MFN. So this is employee first name, then employee last name, then employee number. So the three first variables are of type string. Okay. Now I have here employee number of hours. Maybe we can make it more employee number of hours work, then employee hourly rate, gross pay, total deduction, then net pay. Okay. So these are the variables that I'm going to share to the other forms. Okay. So let me go to the main form, but first let me see if it will go, it will run. Okay. Just give me a minute. It's taking some time. Okay. So new share. Okay, new share. New share. Okay, share. So this is my uh, employee pay calculation main form. Okay, so I'll be getting the information from the user like employee number, first names, last name. Then I'm going to save it to my variable. Okay, then I will do the pay calculation. I will ask for the number of hours worked, then the hourly rate. Then of course there will be some deductions. Like in here in Philippines, we have here SSS or Social Security contribution. Then we have here a Pag-ibig contribution. Then we have cash advance. Then total when I maybe I will put these buttons here so that it will be more intuitive. Okay, so let me go to the share again. Okay, share. Then let me just stop my running application. Okay. Now, as I said, I need to do something here. So once I get this information, so I will put it here. Okay, so let me just do some arrangement in my graphical user interface. Now, again, as a programmer, when you are planning the logic, okay, when you are planning your logic, part of it is the design of your graphical user interface, or we call it GUI. Okay. Now here I will change also this one. Then I will try to drag these objects or these controls a little bit farther down. Okay, to give way to that button. Okay. Now I will say, okay, if I have this information, then I can now compute for the pay. Then this one is for displaying. Okay, now let me just make it a little bit. Okay, now see. Okay, okay. So this will be our final graphical user interface. Okay. Now, so the next thing we need to do is to code this save button. Okay, so this is my button save employee data. Okay, now I will try to double click it. Okay, so what is happening here? Okay, so I'm now using the global variable declared here. Okay, employee first name, last name, and number. So in my code, I'm saying global var. So how are you going to call or how are you going to use your global variable? First, you need to specify the class name, global var. This is the var, global var. Okay, this, as you can see, now this is the class that we defined. Okay, then you will say, you will use the dot notation, dot. Then these are the variables, emp, thought deduct, number of employee name, net pay. Okay, these are the variables you declared inside your global variables. Okay, then I will say, okay, let me remove this because it's creating some problem. Okay, so that's how you're going to know global var. That use the dot notation, then it will display all the variables you declared inside your class. Then now what I'm going to do is to assign the text property of my text box intended for the first name. So this will be the text boxes. Okay. So global var and last name again. I will be just assigning all the values or the user type in those text boxes. Okay. Now, so I already have the code for this save button. Now, the next thing that I need to do is to do the code for this one. So what, okay, the object names are already changed here. Okay, this one is, let me change this one. Okay, text box one. I don't want to use text box one because it's not descriptive. So I will use text. Okay, and HR, hourly rate. I think that will be enough. This one, I will say, okay, text SS contribution. That's okay. Text pag-ibig. Then text box 4. This will be, we will change it to text CA, cash advance. Okay. Now this one, let's change this one. Okay. This one is text, I will say text total deduction. Then this one is, so as you can see, when it is a text box, when I'm renaming the object, I'm using txt. So denote that this is a text box, okay? Text GP, gross pay. Then this one, I will say this will be text net pay. Okay, now I almost renamed all my controls. Okay, but how about this one? Okay, button display payslip, button close. Okay, so this one, button compute pay. Okay, now it's time to do the coding for the compute pay. Once we get this information from the user, then the deductions, then that's the time to compute the pay. Okay, now let me just make this one a little bit, give emphasis to it. Okay, so I think I need to, my computer is a little bit slow. So you have to bear with me. Okay, so that is the deductions. Okay, then let's just make this also a little bit and give emphasis to it. Okay, then let's say Tahoma. This is my favorite. Okay, so total deduction, gross pay, then net pay. Okay, now I want to do the alignment of this text alignment. Okay, let's see if we can align it to the right. But I think I need to do it here. Where is the format? Tools. Okay, I don't need the format here. Okay. Now, anyway, this one, and this one. Format, then align, type. Okay. So this will be my total deduction gross pay and net pay. Okay. So anyway, let's do the coding. Okay. So now I don't have code here. Okay. For the gross pay, how are we going to compute for the gross pay? Okay, that let's compute first the total deduction. Okay. Now, wait, let's do this one. Okay, what is this total deduction? So let me rearrange my controls. Okay, so what I want to do is put it here. Okay. Then the first thing that I need to compute is the gross pay, which is the gross pay is the number of hours worked, then the hourly rate. Okay, now this is again a simple pay calculation. Okay, so it's just to give you okay. Gross pay. Okay, now let's do that computing now. So how I'm going to compute gross pay? Number of hours work times hourly rate. Okay. Now here we will try also to use some variables here. Okay. Now I will say dim. So I will declare a local variable. Okay. So dim and gross pay single. Okay, data type single. Then I will say also the amp. Okay, I will just say gross pay. Then and let's use that one. So gross pay equals. So what will be the gross pay? So we will say CS single. Okay, CS single text amp text. Okay, what will be that one? Let me check. What is this one? Text number of hours work. Okay, so let me go back here. Text number of hours work. That text that will be multiplied by C. Again, I will convert to single. Then text and HR. Okay, that text. Okay, that will be my gross pay. Okay. Now, how I'm going to compute my total deduction? So dim, I will again declare a variable here. Tot deduct as single. Okay. Notice how I tried to use a variable here. So m tot deduct equals. So I'm computing now the total deduction. That will be the addition of all the deductions. So single text s. Okay, that x plus. Okay, another deductions there. See single. Okay, then text pag-ibig that text. Okay, then plus another deduction in our form text CA. Okay, that text. Okay, I already computed the total deduction. I have the gross pay. I have the total deduction. Then I can compute for the okay. Now let me first declare that variable here. Then the amp net pay as again. I will use the data type single. Okay, so I will now assign some values here. Amp net pay equals that will be amp. I have computed already the gross pay minus the amp total deduction. Amp tot deduct. Okay. So our computation for the pay will be gross pay. Employee gross pay will be the number of hours worked times the employee hourly rate. Total deduction will be the sum of the three deductions. Then the net pay will be gross pay minus total deduction. Okay. Now, how are we going to display it in our form? So this one, I'm going to display it here. Okay. Going to display in this boxes. Okay. So what I will do, I'll go back to my code. Now, I computed already. So I will put a remarks here. Display the info in the form. Okay. So I will say text, what is that one? Text GP. Okay, that text equals the one I have computed and gross pay. Then text total deduction TD, that text equals and dot deduct. Okay, now text NP, the text equals amp and net pay. Okay, now this time I will put a remarks here. Assign the variables, assign the local variables to the global variables. So how are you going to put or assign some values in your global variable so you can share it to the other form? Okay, now I have here, okay, I already have there. So what I will going to do is global var dot. First, I want to assign the gross pay also. So I want to assign the amp gross pay. Okay, equals. So I am assigning a value there. So I will assign this amp gross pay. Okay, then global var again. Let me call the that amp total deduct. Okay, so this one equals amp. Okay, so this one. Then global var that net pay, I guess, amp net pay equals my amp net pay. Okay. So you see how I transferred. See how I transferred the the local variable here. I used here to the global variable here. Okay, so that this information I can share it now to the other form. Okay, so how I'm going to share it to the other form? Okay, now from payslip. Okay, so what I'm going to do? Okay, now I think I need to share also number of hours worked and hourly rate. So let me go back there. So global var that amp number of hours worked. Number of hours. Okay, so this one equals. So I will say text number of that. Will say C as single just to make sure I will not encounter any problem. Text amp number of hours work. Okay, then okay. So I have some problem here because I did not specify the text property. Okay, then I will say again global var dot amp hourly rate. Okay, this one equals C single again just to make sure text amp hourly rate, and then this one. That's okay. Now I almost have all the information. I have those information that I need to transfer to the other form. Okay. Now this is my payslip form. So I need to put all the necessary information here through the use of my global variables. Okay. So what I'm going to do is to, okay, let me just see if there is a me.close. That is the code for closing it. Okay. Now, we have here an event. Okay. So I have an event here, load event. So when the form loads, so these are the instructions. So again, now I'm going to, since I have here this number of hours, then total deduction. So I need to, so what I will do here, text, okay, I think I have not yet. Okay, so let me, so this one, text number of hours work. Okay, so this one is text. Okay, so let me rename first so that it will be more easy to remember. Text temp HR. Okay, so this one will be text CD. So this one will be text amp GP. So this one will be text amp NP, not pay. Okay, now we are ready to code. Okay, so when the form loads, I will say text amp GP. Okay, that x equals my global variable for that one. That this one is gross pay. Global var dot. Where is my gross pay? So this one. So text amp. Okay, let me see HR. So this one. Hourly rate. Text equals global var dot. That is hourly rate. So this one. Enter. So text. And what else? Total deduction. That text equals global var dot. What is that one? Total deduction. Total deduct. Text and what else? I have already GPH. Then I have the NP. Okay, so I will say net pay that X equals global var dot. That is net pay. So I have the net pay here. Okay, so let me check gross pay, hourly rate, number of hours work. I think I need to text number of hours that X equals global var dot and number of hours. Okay. I think I have all the information. Employee number, first name, last name, gross pay, hourly rate, total deduction, net pay, employee number of hours. Okay, let's check. So this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need to transfer 8 variables. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now first, let's save our application. Okay. Then we will try to run it now. Okay, so let me run. Okay, so just share the running application. Okay, now employee number, I will say 100. Tab. First name is, okay, let me use capital, Santos. Last name is Capellian. Then I will save it, no problem. Then I will come here. So let's say 10, tab, 200. So let's say I work for 10 hours. Then my hourly rate is 200, tab. Okay, now let me, SS contribution. I have 100 pesos SS contribution. Then I have 100 pesos Pag-ibig contribution. Then I have cash advance of 500 pesos. Okay. Now, I have already the information from the user that I will be able to compute my gross pay, total deduction, then net pay. Now, my gross pay will be 10 times 200. So I'm expecting here 2,000, right? Then my deduction will be 100, 100, 500 will be 700 here. Then my net pay is gross pay minus the net total deduction will be my net pay. So that is 2,000 minus 700 is 1,300. So let's compute it. Let's see if the program is doing its job properly. Compute. Okay. Now, as you can see, at 2,000, the gross pay 10,000, 10 times 200 is 2,000. This the deductions are here. Then the net pay. So now let's see if we will be able to display it. Okay, so this is my employee. Okay, let me just share the, because maybe you will not be, okay. So as you can see now, the employee's pay slip is employee number, first name, Kapelyan, number of hours, then this will be your take home pay, 1,300 pesos. Okay, guys. So once again, what will be the scope in this? What was the scope? What was the scope of this tutorial? Now, I tried to explain here how are you going to prepare a global variable. When we say global variable, that variable can be shared to the entire application. When I say entire application, let's say you have here several forms. Like this one, I have main form, then I have payslip form. So from my main form, I tried to use the variables, the local variables here, then put it in the global variables so I can share it to the other form. Okay. So again, guys, this is the part 8 of my tutorial, and I'm hoping those who are new to computer programming, you are learning something from this simple computer programming tutorial. So again, this is your host, Santos Capillan Jr. And before I will end, let me say God bless us all. Let's all be safe and bye for now.